How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to the corner. I am the Demon as always, and today we're going to talk about Dragon Age Veilguard. Now I know everyone's doing this. Everyone is talking about the Veilguard for the exact same reason that I'm about to. Um, but I want to talk about it, and specifically it's because of this. Um, IGN legitimately, unironically, gave this fucking game a 9 out of 10. There's another YouTube. There's someone I want to pull up real quick. So I want to talk about this woman real quick. Um, Now she made a video a while ago that I was going to react to, but then chose not to. I wish I had at this point. Talk about why IGN is always giving a 7 out of 10. And basically, in this video, let me find it real quick. Okay, so I'm gonna play this short clip real quick.
So common? Why does it feel like 7 out of 10 has become the average video game score, at the very least, in the AAA gaming space? Why is everything a 7 out of 10? Why is it so common? What happened to the other half of the scale? Why aren't we using it? In my opinion, it actually is because 7 out of 10 kind of has become average for AAA games, but maybe not for the reasons that most people would think. Important to note before we get into this that different websites do have different scales. A 9 for IGN is not the same as a 9 for some.
So right here, I'm actually going to pull up the IGN review score. And I want to show this. Okay, so this is it. It's the same as right here, as you can see, right? So it says for a 9. Okay, they're saying that is an amazing game. We enthusiastically recommend you to add these games to your playlist. If we call a game amazing, that means something about it seriously impressed us. So whether it is an inspired new idea or an exceptional take on an old one, we expect to look back on it as one of the highlights of its time and genre. Okay? And they compare it to things like Batman Arkham Knight, Forza 4, Smash Bros. Ultimate, and Resident Evil 2. Resident Evil 2, okay? They're saying Dragon Age Veilguard is on the same level as Resident Evil 2. Now, I'm just going to be honest, okay? I've never beat Resident Evil 2. And the reason why is because that game is fucking terrifying to me as a kid. And I've just never gone back to play it as an adult. This game is an absolute fucking masterpiece when it comes to storytelling. So in Batman Arkham Knight, I think it's pretty fucking good too. So to compare that with this, nah. There's another video I want to pull up from Sungrand Studios. Okay. Now I released a video about this one right here. But I want to just look at the first little bit of this video. And we'll get to this video. Don't worry. But I want to get to this one real quick.
Thank you for joining me today. Please grab a seat. Today we will be discussing some dialogue that we have seen from Dragon Age the Veilguard. This is a game that will be launching within the next few days, but we have seen a significant amount of gameplay.
In fact,
and glowing reviews.
I want to do something real quick. I'm just going to leave that up there so we all remember that it's a 9 out of 10, by the way.
Regarding the game. In this video, we will be discussing the writing of the dialogue in order to help writers, if you are an aspiring writer or you are working through the education system to learn writing. This video is to help you understand more about the writing process, understanding writing and dialogue for narrative stories on a deeper level, and how to avoid making mistakes that result in weak dialogue. In this video, we will show a scene from Dragon Age the Veilguard, and later I will show 2 examples of my work. The first example will be a game which features some dialogue, and the second I will be reading an excerpt from my upcoming novel, which is connected to...
I actually just kind of want the dialogue to play out here. So
play out.
Listen to the dialogue in this game.
The cookies better.
Everyone likes the cookies better.
I'll eat the fruit. Thank you, Avatash.
Panahe done. I'll see you soon.
So, the dragon hunter has a softer side.
The Kyun says you take care of people.
So, you're a little Kunari, a little Rivani, and a little dragon?
Yeah?
I get that.
Come on. I should tell my mother how Karash is doing. Jathan.
So, Tosh, for those who don't know, is a Talvashoth. Okay. A Talvashoth in Kunari culture is someone who does not follow the Kyun. Okay. So not only do we have this terrible back and forth of her saying to eat the fruit, the other guy being like, I like the cookies. Everyone likes the cookies. I'll have the fruit. Okay. No conversation. No one ever talks like that. On top of that, her being like, the Kyun tells us to blah, blah, blah everyone. Or to take care of everyone. You don't follow the Kyun. Okay? So they ignore their own fucking established lore for their own game, for their own character in the same game. This is fucking ridiculous. This is ridiculous. Okay. So, Charlotte here, she's not trying to defend IGN, but in her video, she basically says that the reason why everything is a 7 out of 10 is because 7 is considered average, right? But 7 is not average on a scale of 1 to 10. That is not an average score. Average means middle of the road. Here, I'll pull up the fucking definition. I'll pull up the definition. Average definition, okay? The usual, ordinary, or quality. Or the usual or ordinary quality, kind or quality, okay? So average is just like the middle point between everything, right? So 1 through 10, the middle point is not a 7. It's not. It's 5. Okay? Now, let's get to this video so I can let Bioware is handpicking reviews or reviewers. They are not giving the review codes to everyone that was promised. They're giving it only to people like fucking IGN who are going to give it a 9 out of fucking 10.
In this Dragon Age The Veilguard review, we're going to be talking about why we're actually not doing a review for The Veilguard today, why this should matter to you, and why it's important. We don't normally make videos like this on the Fex for Life YouTube channel. We typically stay out of drama. You'd be hard-pressed to find more than a handful of these across the entire 3,000 some odd videos we've ever made. But what I want to talk about today is going to impact the way that you watch reviews today, the ones that are coming out today, and this information should not be kept from you. Before I get into that, though, just a little bit of background about Fex for Life's history with Dragon Age. Dragon Age Origins is one of my all-time favorite games. I get asked all the time, what are my top 5 games? And Dragon Age Origins is consistently in that list. That has never changed in the entire time since I've played that game. We also made a Dragon Age Inquisition wiki in 2014 when that game launched, so we've been covering Dragon Age for at least 10 years, maybe longer. And Fex also managed to rescue the Dragon Age forums when Bioware was bought by EA because they were shutting down those forums. We got permission from Bioware to rescue those forums, export them, and import them onto the Fex for Life forum, so you can still find those Dragon Age forums today on our site. We've been in constant communication with EA and Bioware for years about this title. We've been assured we're getting a code multiple times over the years. We've been in constant communication with them. They keep sending us stuff about the game. We've also been covering the game during that time with constant news articles. We've done several videos about the game. But most importantly, I think that our audience is the audience for this title. I think you'd be hard-pressed to find another channel out there that's our size that is so specifically targeted to RPGs that fits the profile for this game. So following all this, we were invited by EA to attend a preview event for Dragon Age The Veilguard in September with a lot of other press and content creators. We were by no means the only ones doing this. And after attending that event, we made our impressions video from playing the game, which has close to 300,000 views on our YouTube channel right now, which I think is one of the most viewed impressions videos for that game at this time. If you watch that video, the general sentiment is that we were cautiously optimistic about the game. We praised its gameplay, character depth, but we weren't completely sold about the storytelling in the long run, although we only got to play a very little bit of time, so we weren't entirely sure. And in general, we didn't really like the character models, the design style of them, which I think a lot of people don't. In general, it was a pretty positive impression of the video.
Most people don't like the way the models are because they're fucking terrible. Especially the Qunari. The Qunari look more like just a human with some fucking horns. I mean, basically just a tiefling without tails. Now, that's all they look like. I wanna pull something up. Qunari Dragon Age 2. Okay. I want to pull someone up. Okay. Look at this dude. Okay. Look at this fucker. This big fucking broad-shouldered, intimidating-looking motherfucker. Okay. Now, if we go to Dragon Age Veilguard. Okay. Look at this fucking twink-looking ass bullshit piece of shit. Okay. Let's just pull these up. Fucking side by side. Okay. And look at this. Look at the difference. They went from being this massive, imposing race to a fucking human with horns. And the biggest fucking forehead. Their forehead's bigger than mine. Like, it's fucking insane. It's actually insane.
And I want to play for you the closing audio from that video right now so you can see what we told our audience at the end of that video. I still have issues with the game, mainly that I don't like the UI and that the dialogues didn't seem to be on par with what you could get in other story-focused games that have come out in the last decade, and that I didn't yet get a point where I felt a bond or much interest with my companions who were integral to the story. It's funny that I have pretty much been playing these games for the story and getting through the combat, but I may actually be playing the Veilguard to enjoy the combat and get through the story to see the end.
I will never play the Veilguard. Ever. I don't care if this game is gifted to me for free, I will reject the gift. I will never have this game on any of my accounts for any platform, ever. I will never play them, I will never download them, I will never do it. Because of the fact that they are denying review codes to anyone who might be critical of the game.
How everything works together and progresses into a full game remains to be seen, and there were several big and impactful events that I cannot discuss, but so far my opinion on this has become more positive, and I would like to urge anyone who loves CRPGs to hang in there and wait for reviews and not write the game off just yet. And just to illustrate how mild that our criticisms were of the Veilguard, after publishing our impressions video, we got called shills. Some people accused us of being paid by Bioware and EA to promote the game, which of course we're obviously not. I was even contacted by another content creator who had attended the event that asked me why my criticisms were worded more cautiously and asked me if I was concerned when I made my video that I'd be denied access to a review code. To which, of course, I replied, no, I'm not worried about getting denied access to a review code. That simply doesn't happen in the gaming industry. But I was not concerned about this at all. I reassured him that he shouldn't be concerned about this because it's just not really a thing in the gaming industry. It's so rare that it shouldn't scare someone into not saying what they think about a game. So after publishing our video, nearly immediately, our contacts at EA and Bioware stopped replying and communication went to zero. So we started inquiring as to what was happening and reaching out to other contacts in the industry in a bit wider of a circle to try and figure out what's happening. As a result, we discovered that we were essentially getting fake reassurances that we were getting a code to keep us happy while denying us access to the Veilguard. It wasn't too long after this that I began to be contacted by other press and content creators about whether or not we had a code, and generally speaking, I get this a lot. People tend to ask me whether I have a code or not, because we generally get codes for all the big games. I'm not trying to brag, it's just simply reality. We have a large channel. We almost always get a code, and another creator or press can figure out if they should have a code right now if they're going to get one or not by asking us this question, which is what
Yeah.
happened here. And we started piecing together between us that some people had codes and others didn't, including ourselves.
So I'm going to pause here. Sungrand's video about this was talking about this very issue, about the fact that some people were not getting codes. And if you go and honestly just go to YouTube and type in Dragon Age Veilguard review, right? You'll see you'll notice a pattern, right? Look at this. All right, they got a review code. Review code. Review code. Or, well, they didn't get a review code. But a lot of these people are getting review codes. And the other people, okay, so this is 100 hours of the game, right? So they got a review code. Because, again, the game only just came out. So the only way they could have played 100+ hours, assuming they're being truthful about that, I don't think they are, is if they got a review code, right? This guy, What Culture Gaming's review code, Bioware is back. The best Bioware has ever been, right? So you can see all these people that got review codes, and you can tell who is willing to speak out and who is not. The people who are willing to speak out and say, this game is worrying, is troubling, this game is concerning, they are not getting a review code. They're just not, right? And the reason why is because they're being critical of the game.
And you might have also seen Wolfheart's tweets about this topic on Twitter or X, and Luke Stevens' video about this topic as well. Both of those individuals were with us in California for the preview event, and both of them put out preview videos as well as ours. And I think between the three of us, we probably have some of the 3 most viewed videos on this topic, or at least most commented on, I would say. And if you read those tweets and you watch that video, you can tell clearly that they also feel some way that they were intentionally excluded by EA from review access for some unknown reason, likely because of critical comments they made in their preview video, even though most of the things they said were positive about the game, just like us. And these are just 2 individuals that are speaking out about this, but we do know that there are at least a handful of other content creators and press that were left out, maybe more, that share a similar sentiment, that feel like they were deliberately prevented from giving their own opinions to their own audience about this game. It is feeling like EA is deliberately trying to prevent us from telling you what we think about the game, and they want you to hear it from someone else. So you then have to ask yourself, why would EA do this? What is their angle? What are they trying to accomplish by doing this?
I can tell you, I mean, it's very obvious to anyone who's actually ever paid attention to this kind of thing. BioWare, and not just BioWare, mind you, this isn't just a BioWare thing. We've seen with Ubisoft as well, the whole DEI bullshit that's going on, that's spreading like a fucking venereal disease through the gaming industry, of hiring people who are whacktivists, as I would like to refer to them as, because they're fucking whack activists, who try to push a specific agenda, and if you're not willing to push that specific agenda, then fuck you, basically, is what it comes down to. The reason why people aren't getting review codes is because, as I said, they are critical of this game. And they are not just ecstatic over the moon about it, like fucking sellout IGN is. Honestly, I am exceedingly surprised that they still have 20 million subscribers.
After the previews came out, I think it became very apparent that most of the people who were still interested in Veilguard after watching the previews were waiting for reviews to make their final decision about whether or not to purchase the game. If you just read comments in any YouTube video about the Veilguard or look at the poll on our community page, you can see that the vast majority of people that are still interested are waiting for reviews. Looking at this, EA's marketing team probably saw this and decided that they needed to make the reviews as...
People are waiting for reviews because people have gotten sick and tired of game publishers putting something out that doesn't actually show or demonstrate what the game itself actually is. We saw this with fucking Assassin's Creed Shadows, where they put this game out. Admittedly, it was a little bit more egregious and upfront in that scenario, where they put all these trailers and whatnot out. And the game was just a blatant rip. It was just blatantly stealing from Japanese culture. I still see people who leave comments being like, they're not stealing, blah, 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 blah. But the thing with the Japanese is a lot of the symbols that they use are trademarked in Japan. And if you just use those without getting the trademark, it's the exact same as trademark infringement in the US. It's the exact same. In fact, actually, it's worse because they take that shit way more seriously than America does. And that's saying something because America takes it pretty seriously.
Positive as possible, trying to exclude those that might, give the game.
But yeah, basically, players are just sick and tired of being led to believe a game is one thing, and then they get it, and they see all these reviews of, oh yeah, this game's amazing, and then they get it, and it's fucking garbage. Like fucking Fallout in Space. I forget what the fucking name is called. I just call it Fallout in Space because it's Fallout in Space.
A 7 or an 8, while also reaching out and finding press and content creators that would maybe give the game a 9 or above. Just think about this for a second. If you're on the EA end and you're trying to manipulate review scores because you want high review scores, what are you going to do? You're going to research press and content creators and what they usually give to games score-wise to give you a general idea of how they're going to review your game. For us,
all these are for Diablo 4 reviews, mind you. And remember how terrible Diablo 4 was on release? It was fucking garbage! All these people giving them 100 out of 100.
We never give games 10s. 9s are extremely rare. Most games we give reviews to fall somewhere in the 7 or 8 range, while other places, you know who they are, always give 9s and 10s, and frankly, it's hard to take them seriously. And this is why I made this video. Because you guys told us in no uncertain terms that you're waiting for reviews, and you're about to get a bunch of reviews that have been curated by the publisher for their likelihood of being extremely positive in an attempt to manipulate your view of Dragon Age the Veilguard. They want you to think there is a universal consensus that the game is amazing, thereby convincing you that you should try it, but also influencing future review scores as it's difficult to be the outlier. If you've ever done a review for a game or for something, you'll realize that if you're the only one giving a high review score when everyone else is giving it a low review score, it's difficult. Or if you're the only one giving it a low review score and everyone else is giving it a high review score, it's a very difficult position to be in. So if you see a bunch of positive review scores come out today, think about all the people that are going to be playing afterward and how much pressure they're going to feel to give the game slightly better score than they would have given it, just to avoid maybe some undue pressure. And sometimes that doesn't even happen consciously, it's just done subconsciously. And I want to be very...
Something I just thought about, actually, is I think I know the reason why they chose to take this route with the action. Removing the tactical element of it and going full action. It's because of Dark Souls and games like Dark Souls. I just thought about this. And something else that's really funny, I just want to pull this up real quick. So this game just came out, and at the exact same time, Dragon's Dogma went on a 50% or almost a 50% off sale. Just wanted to point that out. I find that really funny.
Very clear here that I don't think that the press and creators publishing their videos early are going to be lying.
I do. I guarantee you they are. And the reason I can guarantee it is because of shit like this. Because of shit like this. Okay? Because they compare this game to Resident Evil 2. One of the single greatest games of all time. Okay? This is just... They're saying that this game is just below God of War. Just below Ocarina of Time. Okay? Now, I'll be up front. Ocarina of Time is literally the single greatest game in all of gaming history. Full stop. It is the single greatest game. And even if I were to compare Dragon Age Veilguard based solely off of the combat and the lore that has been established before this game is still a 6 at best. At best. That's how I know that people who give these scores do not give them these scores because they're being sincere. They're giving them this score because they are paid to do it. Which is something else that that she tries to argue against. Charlotte tries to say that they don't give them the scores because they're paid to do it, but they literally are paid. The company gets paid by the people that make the game, and then the people working for that company get paid by the company, thereby being paid by the person or by the company that gives them the game.
However, these reviewers have been screened to maximize the chances that you're seeing positive reviews. There will probably be some exceptions, of course. I don't think everyone's going to give the game a positive review. But EA is banking
Everyone who
that
got a
those
review
are
code
few
will give
and
them a
far
positive
between
review.
in an attempt to keep the aggregate score of the game high. This has only happened one other time that I'm aware of in the some 10 odd years I've been doing this, and that is with Cyberpunk 2077, which followed a similar pattern where we were constantly reassured we were getting a code for years but never got one, and suddenly reviews were out and everyone was praising the game, giving it 9s and 10s, except one journalist who dared to give it an 8 and was ripped to shreds for it. But then the fans got their hands on the game, and well, you know the rest. It wasn't what was promised, and we were forced to make one of the most disappointed videos I've ever made in my gaming career. However, in the case of CD Projekt Red, they owned their shit, and the game is in a much better place now, though they lost trust by what happened with that game.
In their defense, which is something that I feel like no one fucking thinks about or considers anymore, or like just seems to have forgotten, is the entire reason they pushed it out early when they did was because their investors demanded that they do it. CD Projekt Red tried to tell them that it was a glitchy and buggy and that they needed more time to fix it, but the investors demanded that they push it out. It was the investors that forced them to do it. But even in spite of that, they still owned the shit and said, yes, we are sorry. This is the reason why we released it. We're going to work on it. We're going to continue to patch it. And now it's in a really great spot. And I think it's a pretty good game. Except for the fact that when I'm shooting a silent sniper rifle, someone from behind a solid brick wall can hear me and immediately spots me.
And in CD Projekt Red's case, they had already garnered quite a positive reputation, so they survived the backlash. However, neither Bioware or EA have shining reputations in the gaming industry, and many people think this is Bioware's last chance to prove they still have it.
I hope this game flops harder than Concord.
This is the worst.
In fact, since it's out, hang on. Oh, sorry, it comes out tomorrow. On Halloween.
Possible start to demonstrating whether or not that is true. So what does this mean for Fextra Life? Honestly, nothing has changed. I'm going to buy the game, I'm going to make our review, and I'm going to like the game or not based on the merit of the game, same as we've always done. I'm not going to let EA's bullshit influence our review or its score. We decided to make this video after some deliberation for you, the viewer, because we couldn't in good conscience let this pass without saying something and let you be duped into thinking this title is one way when it in fact may be completely different. There are a lot of moving parts behind the scenes in the gaming industry that you will likely never know about, such as executives for publishers getting bonuses based on review scores, with higher score being bigger bonuses. Maybe you didn't know that. The tactic that EA has taken with Dragon Age the Veilguard may prove to be successful, but should be entirely unnecessary if the game is in fact good. But it's not good for you, the consumer, and because they did this, you should not purchase the game based on initial reviews, but instead wait for players to get their hands on the game and tell you how things actually are. So
the reason why they are handpicking who gets review codes and is allowed to review the game early, the entire reason why is because of the fact that they want good scores. That's the entire reason. That is the whole entire reason why.
so that there is a true consensus, not one that is manufactured by a large corporation who clearly doesn't care about its community or community members, but in fact only cares about the bottom line.
I mean, that's been obvious since its inception, I feel like. I've seen BioWare going this route of only caring. I mean, we see this shit with Sony. I just released a video yesterday talking about how they shut down Firewalk Studios. But in spite of that, they even said in that exact same memo that they were prioritizing live service and mobile games over everything else. Sorry. Prioritizing mobile games in live service, not the other way around. So oh my god.
And believe me when I say that I would much rather be publishing a Dragon Age the Veilguard review today rather than this video. This is not a video that I really wanted to make, but I thought it was very important to get this information out to you. And again, no disrespect to any content creators or press out there that are putting out their reviews today. This video is not aimed at attacking them in any way. It's simply aimed at informing you about what is going on with Dragon Age the Veilguard and why you might want to take these things into account when you're watching reviews today and tomorrow.
Oh god, I meant to pause in it.
In this
yeah, no, mine is I hate every single person who gives this game a positive score based off their review code. Every single one, they're fucking sellouts, they're shills, and they have absolutely no fucking integrity. Every single fucking one. Every single fucking one. So yeah, that's my take. That's all I have to say. This game is not a 9 out of 10. IGN is probably the most fucking retarded channel in the world right now. Yeah. They got rid of it. There's an add-on you can get that will restore the YouTube dislikes, so you can see how much a thing is disliked. Yeah. So that's all I have to say. Thank you all for watching. I've been the DM as always. Thank you for coming to my corner. If you liked the video, hit like, hit subscribe. If you didn't like the video, hit dislike. Leave a comment. Let me know why you think that this game is a 9 out of 10. And I'll see you all next time.